Welcome to another edition of Five Strands with Art Del Cueto. I'm your host, Art Del Cueto. And as always, I encourage you all to hit the subscribe button and the share. The only way we move the needle is if we share the episodes and we don't argue, but realistically we tell people, hey, these are the facts, this is the reality of what's going on. And that's what I aim to do with the show. I am fresh off my trip from the northern border. It was put on by the Federation for American Immigration Reform. There was different sheriffs from around the area, particularly up there in New York. I was in Alexandria Bay. Fantastic weather, I can tell you that. My trip was a little bit not so fantastic. It took forever. I was supposed to leave Tucson at 10 a.m. and I was supposed to get there by 10:30 that night. There was a lot of delays, a lot of back and forth, so I ended up not leaving Tucson till 7 p.m. from the original time, and I flew to Los Angeles. Then from Los Angeles, I went overnight, and I ended up in Boston. Boston then flew me over to Syracuse, New York, and then I drove up to Alexandria Bay. But all in all, I made it in time to do my presentation on the cartels, the history of the cartels and how they've affected the southern border. And it was important to do that in the northern border because, look, it was a true eye-opener for me being out there. I complained about the Tohono O'odham Reservation and the lack of barriers here, though there's hope at the end of the tunnel. I think they're going to be able to do something moving forward on building a better barrier. But the northern border, look, hats off to the Border Patrol agents that were out there, to all the law enforcement that's working out there, particularly Border Patrol, obviously, because, you know, those are my homies. And I was out there and I saw how difficult it is to patrol. It's just water. So boats are coming across constantly. It's a very difficult situation. It's very hard work out there as well. I know sometimes people have said, oh, well, the northern border, you know, it's different than the southern border. It is different, but it is just as much as important, if not, I think even more so moving forward, because I think a lot of it is ignored, but the cartels know what they're doing. I've said it many times. The cartels operate in 168 different countries. They know what they can bring across in Canada and what they cannot. So it is very important. We have to increase, obviously, the technology up there and the manpower to a point also. You know, I mean, obviously, don't ignore the southern border, but definitely do not sleep on the northern border because it is just as important and is just as bad, especially from what I saw. Look, the numbers are better. Everything, as they said, is more secure than it's ever been before. However, you can't just sit there and say, oh, well, it's more secure, so everything should be fine. And I'm going to tell you why. There was a sheriff that spoke there from New York, and he had a very interesting points that said, look, if we allow the movement of socialism to push forward in the northern border, particularly in New York, I think was what he said, then it's just going to spread. So we can't just sit there and ignore it and say it's not a big deal. I was watching the news earlier today. There was interviews being done on the DSA, the Democratic Socialist of America, and they were saying, even if they win the elections, it's a small amount. Maybe we shouldn't worry. And I say these people are 100% wrong. We definitely need to worry because that just continues to grow and it makes it worse. And we need to truly put a stop to it. I'm amazed at how society has gone. In the news all over the place, you're hearing this story on this Clancy lady that killed her 3 children. And there's people out there, protesters or lining up or whatever you want to call it, in support of her and having, you know, some type of mental issue that caused her to do this. It's hard for me because, look, I understand the mental aspect and I understand people need help mentally. But if you premeditate the killing of your own 3 children, that's beyond just having mental issues. You're just a monster. And it blows my mind that we have people out there saying, oh, poor her, making her the victim. She killed 3 children, let alone it was her own 3 children. These kids looked at their mother as the ultimate love of somebody that would take care of them and protect them. And she murdered them in cold blood. So, but again, it's society turns around and they're making the wrong people the victims. And it's really sad. And I think a lot of it is the political push of open borders, of no law enforcement, of not holding people accountable. And that's really sad. And I think it's spread throughout other parts. I know people have said, oh, well, you know, it's just maybe 6, like this lady that was interviewed this morning. But it's not. And I'm going to read you a story. This individual right here They're looking for him because he's the suspect of killing a police recruit down here in Tucson, Arizona. They also attacked his fiance, and she's in the hospital. They have caught two of the guys. This last guy that I just showed you a picture of, they haven't apprehended him. They're still looking for him. Now, I did some further digging in, and there was other individuals that posted this, so it's pretty legit. And I'm just going to show you. I have it written down, and I wanted people to hear this. This is the prior convictions and arrests of this individual that you just saw. He was arrested for soliciting of dangerous drugs in 2010, 1-year sentence. Child abuse, December 2010 as well, 6 months. Theft in May of 2011, 6 months. Credit card fraud, September of 2012, 1 year, 6 months. Theft of means of transportation in February of 2020, 2 years, 6 months. Misconduct involving weapons, also that same February of 2020, 1 year, 6 months. Burglary in the first degree, February 2020, 2 years, 6 months. Aggravated taking of identity, February of 2020, 2 years, 6 months. Theft, February 2020, 2 years, 6 months. Burglary third degree, September 2019, 2 years, 6 months. And in 2024, offense listed as unlawful, 1 year and 9 months. So these are the allegations that are out there. This is the prison record showing, some of this imposed sentences. And if you look at the dates that I just quoted off and the time that he was put in prison or jail, some of these run concurrent. So they're at the same time. So he can be, found guilty for like 5 different crimes, and the conviction can be 2 years, 6 months. Well, he's doing all of them at the same time. So realistically, he didn't do as much time as people are saying if you look at it. Now, again, he was released, and I think it goes back to what I've been saying. What's going on with the consequences? I've concentrated on illegal aliens that enter the country, that get arrested, like we had that one in San Francisco that eventually ended up killing an elderly man in his garage for burglary. He was released twice. But here we have, it's not just illegal aliens that are getting released, it's a lot of these other individuals that have committed crimes and they're not facing real consequences. And it leads me again to talk about it spreads. Don't sit there and say, oh, we're just 6 people that are running on this political platform, we should be okay. We're not okay. We have individuals that are running on a political platform that are against our values, against our way of life, against America. Just the name alone, Democratic Socialists of America. You need to go to a socialist country and enjoy that and leave us alone. That's why it's very important that we pay attention and we don't just say, oh, it was just a couple folks. It's okay if they win. We can overrule them. No, it will spread. I guarantee you New York didn't think it was going to spread as much as it did, and it has. And it's evident by talking to these sheriffs out there. So we need to be very vigilant. On another story I wanted to push out here that I got, another issue and another story that continues to be all over the news. It seems like every week we have to talk about this. Now, a 19-year-old illegal alien from El Salvador is accused of fatally stabbing a female co-worker that he was having an intimate relationship with. Then he doused her body in gasoline near a trail in Virginia. What the heck is going on? Again, and we still have idiots, for a lack of a better word, out there pushing this whole open border agenda and saying we shouldn't be arresting these individuals. Now is not the time to, take our foot off the gas pedal. We need to really continue to move forward, pay attention to what's going on. And yes, the border is a lot more secure than it used to be, but evil is not sleeping on us, and they're still getting groups coming through. We need to be vigilant. At the same time, we need to start doing more and more of these interior enforcements to get these types of animals off the streets, because it's gone on too far. And again, I'm sick and tired of being on every single week on a news channel and talking about another murder from an illegal alien that should not have been here. And the worst ones are the ones that have been apprehended numerous times by law enforcement, and they continue to be released in our city streets. So, just make sure you really show up come voting time, and we continue to protect real freedoms in America, and we continue to protect the future of our children and of our great country. As you can see, I'm wearing Don Fry's shirt, the Predator shirt. Go to his website, help him out, buy some of his shirts. There's other, accessories and articles and back and forth knickknacks that he sells. Again, I don't make money off of this, folks. These are my friends. I help out my homies, and I've always said, help out your homies just like you help out, unfortunately, some of the lames that you don't even know. So buy from people that actually you know and that are actually doing some good stuff. There's tons of different shirts. I like this one. It's loud and out there, but again, Don Fry is my friend, and it's a big deal, so help him out. On that note, till next time, stay safe and God bless.